guys. Welcome to Heart to Hearties. I'm Lori from Mobile, Alabama.
And I'm Dawn from North Carolina.
And we are so happy today to be joined by Bryce and Eliana Newall. Welcome to Heart to Hearties.
Welcome, yay.
Y'all have been longtime Hearties, haven't you?
Not too long, about 3 years.
3 years. Okay, well, we'll count that as long term.
That's long.
We'll count that. Well, we're so happy that y'all are here to help us talk about some insights into the brand new Elite box set, which has those unseen episodes from season 6 with Abigail that's now available for you to get from Walmart and from the Edify store. As a little bit of background, the show went off the air back in March of 2019 after, I believe it was 4 or 5 episodes, I believe maybe 5 episodes aired before they had to take it off the air. And then it had a hiatus for a brief time and came back on the air on May the 5th with the Abigail scenes edited out of the episodes that followed for the rest of season 6. Now, fans in Canada have had the opportunity to see those original scenes, but this is the first time that it has had a wide release on DVD. So we are so excited to talk about those scenes. Now, for all of you, what did it feel like for you to revisit season 6, even overall, without the whole matter of the deleted or the changed scenes? What did it feel like?
Oh, going home. I mean, so I think we talk about in the bonus content, there is two discs that talk about the Abigail's season. So it was like a retelling of season 6, and Lori just said, there was at least 4 or 5 episodes that aired.
I believe.
6? Okay. But in the set, so we are going to talk about this. We're just going through episodes in the disc 6, 7, and 8. But your question is about the full on the reaction about the season. I mean, it's visiting everything. I mean, we have Clara and Jesse and introducing Nathan and Lucas. Well, Lucas was 2 or 3 episodes before that. Fiona. I mean, there was just so many, for me, that was just going back in time and
Carson's still there in season 6.
Yeah, a lot of faith in Carson. Yeah. So yeah, that was, for me, that was immediately, well, and in that episode for the discs, the first 2 episodes are the Christmas episodes that was one of my favorite scenes for the whole entire show. From season 1 to season 12. I don't know if it's going to be season 13 that I have a great, a moment that was like, okay, this is just like top 5. But that was with Martin or Gowan with the Christmas story.
With the little girl reading the book.
Yeah. He is like top 5 for me. But anyway, that was my reaction. What about Bryce? Eliana, what do you guys think?
I really enjoyed watching it because it felt like watching it for the first time, even though you knew the characters. And I really enjoyed the picture, the painting of Abigail.
Oh yeah. We're going to talk about that later, but that was a good one. Yeah.
So I really like Abigail. She had a really warm smile. And she seemed like such a nice, well put together character that I really missed her when she was gone. So I'm very sorry to hear what really happened in her true life, because I really respected her as an actress. I think she's a really good actress. And she brings a lot to the character and to the show. And I really miss her. And I wish things in her personal life wouldn't have turned out the way they did, because so it's so nice to have her and see what she had filmed, because it's a treat.
Yeah,
Really enjoy it.
I really after it was aired and I found out that they already edited, everything was done. It was, ready, to air. They were already done editing and everything like that. I'm like, wow, I would pay to find out what that was. That
We
season
all
was
were
like.
thinking that.
Exactly. Like, but how many seasons ago?
Yeah.
That, it's just like, oh my goodness. But yeah. Yeah.
Seasons.
What about Bryce? What did you think?
Well, I've gone back and watched the series a few times over the last couple of years. Traditionally, after we watch um, whatever the current season is, then I would usually then take some time as time permits and go back and kind of watch it from the beginning. So I saw season 6 again as it originally aired, probably about 2 or 3 months ago.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but it was really, like Eliana said, it was really neat to go back and revisit it again and see some of the things that happened, like the whole oil craze, and yeah, that was, and Jesse suing Henry over his property.
Oh, everybody wanted to sue everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone was jealous for anything.
Everybody was lawyering up.
I was going to say, well, you rub two nickels together and everyone has a stake in it,
Yes.
To add to what Eliana said, I also feel that it's too bad that what happened with Lori happened, but it is what it is. But I do have to say that I think that the production staff and even the actors who got called back to refilm some scenes, I mean, for the relatively short time that it was, I have to say they really did a good job of making it look like this was how the episodes were originally supposed to be. And I have to give them a lot of credit for putting in all that work with going back and re-editing and reshooting, and just even the small things even the small things like credits on the screen, as at the beginning of each episode, things like that. So I do have to give them credit where credit is due.
Sure. Yeah.
And so far we've been through 4 of the episodes, and the painting that Eliana mentioned was in the 4th one.
Okay, you're one ahead of me. I've only done the 3 that we're going to talk about tonight.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead, Eliana.
What I noticed, I don't remember too much of the scenes because it's been a while since we watched them for the first time. But what I did get a sense of is that it had more meat to it with Abigail there. It's like the storyline was fuller. Going back, because we occasionally say stop it and look at what it was like at first, it seemed like there was something missing. Maybe because I've already seen what was missing, but it gave you a sense of it going too quickly. And with Abigail there, it seemed like it added more meat to, skeleton.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, the first episode that we're going to talk about is The Heart of the Mountie. And that was where Nathan was just introduced to Hope Valley and all Hardys. So that was the first time that we met him then. But that episode was not as cooked into a lot of Abigail's scenes.
Yeah.
I would think that the next 2 or 3, that was just really, like you were saying, it was richness of the storyline that was really, I mean, Abigail was there all the time. So, but we'll talk about that. But that was, to me, that was an interesting observation. Okay.
Yeah, it was mostly Abigail interacting with Nathan and then trying to help Elizabeth. That mostly what the theme of that was and instead they had other people doing that. That was interesting.
Yeah. So let's talk about that episode 6, or in the bonus content, Walmart.com, whencallstheheart.com, Edify.com. So that was an interesting thing, because you just said something about that Abigail was in that storyline, but and I think Bryce would be the better because you were talking about compare and contrast. So how it is different between that what was aired, that we had our discs before, and now the difference is for this particular episode. Anything that you saw different that was deleted that you're like, oh dear, man, that really impacted the storyline, things like that. What did you think, Bryce?
I think probably the biggest thing would have just been some of the introductory scenes between Abigail and Nathan. But then also there was the when the stagecoach roars into town after the robbery, and Elizabeth sees Nathan for the first time. In the unseen version, it's Abigail who is with her and or comes out with her and is like, I'm sorry, you know, I didn't tell you about him. I just found out.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sheriff, we were robbed. Whoa.
Elizabeth.
Wow, a robbery.
I knew he was coming. I just didn't know it would be this soon.
It's fine.
No, it's not. I'm sorry. I should have told you.
Come on, we knew Amonte would be assigned to Hope Valley eventually. I'm all right. I'm just late for school.
We'll talk later.
Of course.
But in the remade version, it was Clara who was there kind of comforting her, you know, saying, are you okay? Yeah, and I think there was also, I made some notes here, I'm just looking at it. There was one thing that I thought was kind of an almost funny, interesting little thing where there's a scene where Rosemary calls Abigail, you know, she calls the switchboard and Fiona connects her to Abigail and she says it's urgent, and then Abigail picks up and they start, Rosemary starts talking about Nathan and Abigail's like, this is what you said is urgent, you know, I gotta go quick. And then Rosemary calls back to the switchboard and Fiona answers, yes, Mrs. Coulter, like she was kind of, you know, maybe a little exasperated, but also just kind of, you know, light about it. And since you didn't see that first call between Rosemary and Abigail, the way the episode originally aired, then when Rosemary calls and Fiona says, yes, Mrs. Coulter, it's sort of like, wow, what did she do?
Right.
Because I think because then that time she was put through to Lee. And there were some other interesting little things too, like originally it was Bill and Abigail talking about how Elizabeth and Abigail talking about how Bill and Nathan figured out the whole robbery thing, but then in the gun version it was Bill talking with Elizabeth.
Right. Yeah. Was that the one in the new one or the old one? I don't even know how to with the Abigail bonus thing. Was that when they were meeting Elizabeth and Abigail were with little Jack going through and just walk and talk with the field? Was that the scene?
Yeah. Town wasn't all that welcoming, or didn't seem like they were all welcoming towards Nathan.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Bill and Elizabeth were walking by the saloon in the edited version, talking very similar lines. Almost, it was striking how the lines were almost the exact same lines.
I did like how they added something in there where Elizabeth says, well, having him arrested wasn't exactly the friendliest you do. Because that wasn't in the original.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But I believe it makes more sense to have Abigail and Elizabeth talking than the other characters, because they were the ones that were friends first when Elizabeth shows up to Hope Valley. Or
True.
Yeah. It's interesting for me because the idea that I think in the aired version, they were saying that Abigail went to her mother to take care of mother. So, but
Mhm.
in this episode, that was the Abigail episode, that friendship was paramount for them to go through the introduction of Nathan and how she kind of, because she had her best friend with her through the whole thing, and the one that aired didn't. But it was
Yeah.
fine because they use the idea of Rosemary to kind of build up that kind of friendship in a way that was not intended, I think, originally.
But we see Nathan, he's walking from the saloon to the cafe and he's going down, he meets Abigail and they have a conversation. So it's kind of interesting that in that, I don't know if you call it an alternate universe now,
Yeah.
since it's the Elite edition where we have the Abigail episodes, he met Abigail and he and Abigail got to talk.
How was everything?
It was delicious. Thank you. It's very good.
You sound surprised.
No, relieved.
Well, welcome to Hope Valley, Constable Grant.
Please call me Nathan.
Oh, please call me Abigail.
But in the ones that we all saw and were continued on through 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we don't know. We didn't know that Nathan and Abigail had ever met and had ever talked. And so it's kind of interesting in light of what's happened the past couple of seasons with Elizabeth and Nathan, that we know Elizabeth is writing to Abigail, that she's talking with him about Nathan. So now we kind of see that maybe Abigail did meet Nathan, but only in an alternate universe. Oh, it gets so confusing. I'm going to give myself a headache about this. That would be cool. It would be cool. Okay, so now
I think someone in Star Trek once said that time travel gives me a headache.
Yes.
So alternate universes kind of fall in that same category.
I know. Now, anyway, well, let's go on to the next episode to surprise the next episode with in the bonus content with Abigail. So what I loved the most, and I don't know, I guess I'm a Bill fan. I love, and this was not a change from the previous episode, but Grumpy Bill is not sure about that judgeship, or I think more like it, he's protesting too much about not wanting the judgeship and wanting people to talk him into it. But he was talking to Abigail about that a lot too, and Abigail was kind of trying to talk him into it without talking him into it. I like that. Did y'all have any things that what did you love about the surprise episode?
I like the original, or I guess the original version of the ladies' night where all three of them were there. I liked how they were playing charades, and the version of the ladies' night that we saw that aired was just Rosemary and Elizabeth, and they were just playing cards, and they were talking and having a good time with each other. But the charades was really fun to watch.
That was different.
It was nice. It was more like a ladies' night because there was more than two.
Yeah.
It was a little group, so
Yeah.
more of a slumber party.
Sure. Yeah.
Without the slumber.
Yeah. I have my notes. So I'm like, so I liked the idea of the charades, but in the box it says act out. That was the game. In the box. I'm like, oh,
maybe
that's
charades is
interesting.
copyrighted.
Yeah, who knows? But I was like, act out. Oh, interesting.
Bye, 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 the beautiful sea. Well done, you two.
Only because you gave me beautiful.
Your turn.
All right.
A book. 3 words. Shh, hush. Hush, little baby. Peekaboo. A secret. A secret romance? Faith and Carson. Oh. Can we just pretend I didn't say that?
I was thinking about that Abigail was, and I kind of alluded to that when we were talking about the other episode. This one, she was there a lot. She was talking about the mayorship, and as we go through what was aired, now we know that Bill was doing the judge and the mayor. I think something was they're like doing double duty for Bill. But in this episode, there's just like a full-on rich storyline about the dispute with the land and with Gowan and all of the deals that were being made. It was just so interesting about and she was part of almost every conversation that was integral to the whole plot. So I think if you guys get your bonus content, you will enjoy this particular, absolutely, this one, because especially this is the first time that we have really see the difference to me. I mean, the episode when Nathan was introduced, that was a kind of a smaller kind of impact, but this one really, you could see what Abigail was doing for the town. All the conversation about we can't afford the library. And Bryce, you were probably doing the compare and contrast too. I don't remember what was the conversation. I know that Lucas eventually did the library as that was part of the plot point, but what did they do with this idea that because Abigail was saying we don't have any budget for it, there was no budget. Was that going to Bill doing that? Do you remember?
I think no, I think it was still with actually it was between Elizabeth and Lucas, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay.
Where what was it that he said? Because I'm thinking of, there was a scene where he said, well, she didn't try hard enough, but that was in the Abigail edition. But gosh, I'm trying to remember now who she was telling.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just I'm like, here he is. I don't remember.
I think it was when she was putting up the ad for the books in the Mercantile, and he assumed that the library was a go, and she told him, no, not quite.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Yeah, because there was a lot of conversation that Abigail in her lines, it's all about, we don't have any budget for it. There's no budget. There's no budget. There's no budget. But I don't remember what that was, like how that was conveyed in the episode that was aired. So I need to be more, I just probably go through.
And a lot of that actually happened in episode 8. A lot of those scenes with the talking about the library and with a lot of the oil stuff actually happened in episode 8 in Disputing Hearts. Yeah, but there was definitely, I do remember now, since you were talking about the message board, that in the now I'm thinking of the Abigail edition. So yeah, good question.
It's hard.
So it's hard.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to keep them separate.
Oh, I think part of it too. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes now for the next episode, and part of it, in the Abigail edition, Abigail and Elizabeth were talking about it in the Mercantile. That was kind of replaced with a voiceover at the beginning of the episode.
There you go. Okay.
And then Rosemary and Elizabeth were walking together down the boardwalk talking about it. And that's when Elizabeth said, well, there's no budget the town council says there's no budget for it.
Yeah. I just remember when it was airing that I remember some of the snippets of the whole season. So when I see something that I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. And there's some scenes that were still there. I mean, with the whole Carson and Faith conversations, everything was there. But I didn't remember about Jesse's that it was his plot of land
Yeah.
that Gowan purchased for double. And I mean, Jesse, he's good. He negotiated it. But I forgot that, and I don't know if that was part of what was aired or not. But yeah, I enjoyed that. It was a good thing just to be reminded about what he did. So
One
good.
thing I noticed about Ladies' Night that there was a difference was in the one with Abigail. You can tell that Rosemary's, it's bothering her, the children thing. You can
Yeah.
tell. But it's really kind of, I think they explored a little bit more in the one that was edited. Because Elizabeth is asking, "Are you sure you're okay? Are you sure you're okay?" And I think we're starting to they kind of added that more in the edited version. It was interesting.
What do you go ahead?
Sorry, there was one other scene in episode 7 that they the edition, which I liked, which was in the kitchen of the cafe where Clara was talking to Abigail about the whole oil thing and how they sold their property or that they were thinking about it and whether they should sell and use the money to build their home. So that was a nice scene between the two of them.
Yeah,
I know. I miss Abigail counseling, especially with Clara and that. She was so good with Clara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Eliana?
I agree. And we wouldn't have had the picture. We didn't have the picture scene, her picture. And so this other character, her old boyfriend, we don't see that. So that's something new. That's a new storyline that we miss as well. And that's what I'm talking about, the richness and adding more and having more interesting things happening.
Sure.
Because
those are the episodes that we're gonna review later. But those are just like, oh my word, so good.
Okay, y'all are teasing me. I'm gonna have to watch them now. Fun time.
That's something that Bryce and I were talking about. I was going like, wait, was it Bill and Abigail or was it Henry and Abigail a thing? And I go, I remember later on somebody pining about her. Was it, was it Bill? Was it Henry? And yeah, it's interesting how Henry's just watching this new guy like, what's he doing with Abigail?
Okay,
so that's interesting.
Yeah,
you're gonna
enjoy
that's
it.
Still fresh in her mind.
It's a good teaser, so it would be good. That's great.
The things that seemed to be the most different was the Ladies' Night, which was really sweet to see the three of them together again. The Ladies' Night and this Abigail and Bill discussing the whole judgeship thing, and Abigail kind of steering him towards it,
as she always did. Do whatever you think is right, or what you feel is something like that.
And that's what I like.
Yeah,
I like the fact that she doesn't push them to do stuff. She just kind of opens up the narrative, like, well, it's up to you to decide what it is that you want to do, and then she points out some positive thing. And so that's what I really liked about her character too. It's just that, she was like a motherly figure to everybody. And I liked her as a mayor because, did we really have women in power at that time?
I don't think so, but I don't know. This isn't like, again, we're time traveling.
It's like, yes and no, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, the conversation, I think, Bryce, you were just, that was another one where you're talking about the judgeship, but Abigail was going a conversation with Clara, and she didn't know what to do after they sold the property and things like that. And Abigail says to Clara, "Follow your heart," and I'm like, perfect of our Winkle's a Heart world. But yeah, that was a good one.
In episode 7, where they also had a scene where Carson and Faith were telling Abigail their return from Benson Hills when they went to pick up the EKG machine and some other supplies.
They're so guilty.
It was a very short scene, but yeah,
That is so
wasn't
guilty.
there anymore.
That was funny. That was a good one.
Yeah.
She saw through that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's
I like
so funny.
Carson's line. Well, this machine isn't going to move itself.
Of course. That's funny. That's a good one. So our last episode that we're going to review for this particular Heart to Hearties, it is called Disputing Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And so our previous episode was talking about, the oil was just discovered. Everything has changed because of all the deals that Gowan has kind of placed with Hope Valley at this point. Someone was blocking a road, and it was something between the Lee's world and Gowan's world. So all the things were just going. I mean, it was quote unquote. I use the word rich. I do it more than I should, but I need to have another option for me. But this one had a lot of stuff in there. So, what did you notice for this particular episode that just kind of bubbled up as you were watching this one?
Just the coming out
there
of
was so much.
A lot of Abigail scenes in this one.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and they aptly named this episode 8, Disputing Hearts, because my goodness, there's so many people in a dispute in this one.
right.
Yeah, there was a whole scene where the two property owners, Kurt Lawson and Richard Wolf, they were in Abigail's office, I think with Bill, and somewhere the idea about the territorial rights came up, or maybe that was later when Henry revealed he had bought the right, or that he had the rights from the old mining company to everything below the surface. So if any of those people that he bought options on their property, if any of them struck oil, the oil was his.
Yeah, I think the territorial law came into play with Kurt closing off his property, where Richard couldn't get through, and Lee couldn't get through the road with his lumber stuff, because they said that was not allowed, that he had to allow them access.
Oh yeah.
Well, Abigail,
in that territorial law book that was so old with all the dust.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Abigail had to go through and find this one big books for that for law, for territorial law. It sounds like Gowan had all of the minerals. So that was part of the agreement.
Bought from the mining company.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was the mineral rights. You're absolutely right. Not the territorial law. It was the mineral rights.
Yeah. Yeah, the territorial would be the dispute about the roads, things like that. But
And I remember that's the reason why she looked for that book, because she wanted to be able to fight that issue and say, hey, you don't have the rights to close the road because, people have to pass by and it's a road and you can't close it because everybody has to use the road. And she had to find a law to be able to allow them to open up the gate.
Right. What do you think, Eliana, about what this episode, anything that, because it was all about disputes, which dispute did you like? Because there's a lot of one between the sawmill and the oil, or even the neighborly situation. I think that was the one that there was a debate that the kids were debating. Was that this episode?
What?
Their kids are debating or disputing too.
Yeah.
Because the horses versus cars, that was the one that got Anna and Emily kind of set at each other. Yeah.
So wasn't this a little bit more of a somber type episode where, the disputes bring the worst in people because they forget about neighborly, they forget about, friendship and love, and they just at each other's throat, and you're kind of going like, wow, it's like, and money is a big influence on that sometimes, not just power, because the little girls were fighting about who was right and, whose theory was better than the other one. It had nothing to do with money, but it was power, who had the right to dominate the conversation here. And then you get to the adults, and it's money and it's pride, and it's not that I liked any, because I felt sad, because it was sad, because it was like, this isn't really what we're used to seeing, we're used to them getting along, and then we're seeing the negative, the darker side of what living in a community is like.
Yeah. It's so interesting, because how many years ago was that? I mean, it was, 2018,
2019,
something like that.
Yes.
And it's so apparent in our world now.
Right.
The idea of a community that doesn't see eye to eye, things like that. I mean, it's just, that's how the writing is so, how they even do it. It's always applicable to our world.
And that's kind of what Abigail,
Present tale.
excuse me, that's what Abigail was alluding to when she brought Henry that pie near the end of the episode, that she was worried that all this oil business was bringing out the worst in people.
Henry. I see you're settling in.
Excuse the mess. I just signed the lease today.
I thought congratulations were in order. It's not every day someone starts their own company. I made you a pie, apple rhubarb. I know it's one of your favorites.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I don't know where you find the time.
You must be proud, Henry. You took a risk and it paid off.
To be honest, I don't think it's really sunk in yet.
Well, I'm afraid this oil business has not brought out the best in people.
Sometimes the temptation of money will do that.
It doesn't have to. Henry, you've come so far since your days with the mining company. I hope I never see that side of Henry Gowan again. Good night.
Abigail, thank you for the pie.
Those are the moments I'm like, I always loved the idea of Abigail and Henry. I mean, I was all in, and I was just so disappointed when it didn't work out. But that particular scene was just the tip of the iceberg of what we're gonna see throughout these next, how many episodes that we're gonna review. Remember number 7? I think we have 7. Yeah.
7
So
total.
anyway,
Yeah.
7
Three more.
total. Yeah. So anyway,
About that Henry's got all the mineral rights. She had just told Henry, remember how far you've come. Remember.
Right.
And then he goes and does the Henry thing again.
Saying, hey, I have the mineral rights, so I can do what I want because I have power over people. And you're kind of going like, oh, is he going back to the old Henry?
Yeah.
No, even if you find oil, it's mine.
Yeah. Well, and it was legal though. It was not something that he was doing
Underhanded. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was part of the contract. But yeah, it was kind of,
it's the morality issue.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because I doubt people were reading the contract. They just heard money and 30% percentage.
30%.
I don't think they read the fine lines where he says, well, if there's minerals, they're mine. And so for him to say that, it's kind of like a what?
Yeah.
Kind of goes back to something in season 5. Do you guys remember when the bank was going to call in Jack's loan on that land.
Yeah.
And Abigail said to Mr. Jenkins, there's what's legal and there's what's right, and this isn't right.
Right. Yeah.
Along
That's
those
the same
lines.
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Parallel. That's a good flashback. That's good. Wow.
And on a little bit lighter note, I'll say I loved the expanded scene where Florence was learning how to do the switchboard and was having some trouble. I mean, she
Yes.
called a couple of people by mistake. That whole scene was longer, of course, because Abigail was part of it.
Right. Yeah. No. And she was so frazzled. So frazzled. Her hair. I mean, everything was, it was a good moment of humble pie for Florence for that. I mean, and I think it's so interesting though, because now we know, we're at season 12, we're almost gonna witness season 13 of Ned and Florence, and it's because the proximity of that one store. It was just like, I just love it. But yeah, that was so funny.
We had the fun of Florence blowing up the switchboard, but this was also where we got Hickam coated in oil running through town, right?
Right.
So we got some fun stuff in this one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Loved Hickam running through town. I love that.
Yeah, and that's what then drove Jesse to want to sue Henry.
And that opens up the next chapter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes, seeing there was a scene with Elizabeth and Cody. So because Abigail left, Cody left. So those are the moments that we didn't get from what was aired in 2019. So that was a sweet moment with Elizabeth, and Cody was shoveling the backyard to find oil. That was cute.
So he could buy a dress.
Yeah.
And then
that was really sweet. Yeah.
Is that with the library and them reading the book and all the kids sitting around listening?
No, not yet.
That was the next one.
That must be the next episode.
Speaking of Cody, that's something I was going to mention, that we all think about the fact that Abigail was edited out, but it's not always in the front of our minds that along with that they had to edit Cody out as well. I mean, there was even a short scene in the classroom when they were working in groups, when they were trying to figure out that problem about what time will people arrive at various places. And they briefly focused on the group that Robert and Cody were in, and when they're going like, we got the same time, and Robert's like, that's because I was supposed to be working on that problem.
And they're good friends, outside of work too. So it's kind of sad that had to happen, but I'm so glad that we are witnessing it now for this bonus content.
One thing I thought was interesting was they didn't replace Abigail in that scene with the pie. They just left it out when they edited it. And I guess they realized they could not replace her in that scene. And the scene where Richard and Henry are having their argument in his new office, they didn't put anybody else in there. They just took her out of it. It was just Richard and Henry having the argument. So I guess for those they couldn't think of a character that would go in there.
That would fit. Why would they be in there? Yes.
That would fit for them.
There was one scene that, even though it didn't involve Abigail, that it ended up being cut, was a scene where Lee was telling Henry that he was basically pitting neighbor against neighbor. That was not in the aired version from 2019.
Yeah. No, that's just, it's so interesting. Again, I need a thesaurus to find another word for rich, but the whole conversation was, everything is just, you get a more explanation about what the world was in the story itself. Sometimes if we eliminate these scenes that maybe there's, 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute of a scene, but it just impacts the whole storyline.
Mhm.
But that's the reason why I'm so glad that we have this opportunity to see the Abigail season as it was written and performed. It was in the bank, and then we had to readjust. And I think Brian said something with HFR that there was one episode short. Was it one or two
It was
episodes short?
one.
One. Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
And I think it's
So-
because that dealt with her past boyfriend.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah,
past
that was
boyfriend.
and that was 2 episodes for
Real curious to see
yeah.
that.
No, you're gonna enjoy it,
Oh,
Lori.
Yeah, it
I
made
had a
the
fun
episode
time.
shorter.
I need a 14, 15 hour, excuse me, a 28 hour day. What was that Hallmark movie? 28-hour day, 29-hour day? I need that.
Um,
I can
yeah,
do all
no,
this.
it's good. It's
There was
good.
so much. There was so much in that episode that I don't want to give anything away, but there was so much in the episode that centered around Abigail's past love that I think that's why it ended up being
Mhm.
the season ended up being one season shorter, because they basically combined
Yeah.
the rest of that episode and the next episode
Mhm.
all together into a
That
single.
makes sense. Yeah, because it was a lot. It was a major plot between those two characters, and Henry is part of that too. So
Yeah. I can't wait to see this whole
you know,
Abigail and Henry dynamic.
yeah,
in
if
a
you've
couple episodes.
if you've not had the opportunity to get your Elite box set,
Mhm.
make sure you go to
It's this big, y'all. It is
yeah, no, it's
huge.
good.
Yeah.
And the
Mhm.
Abigail
Walmart.
season is in the bonus
Mhm.
content. And we're gonna go through the last 4 episodes for the Abigail season probably next week. So stay tuned for that one.
Can I add one more thing about
Sure, absolutely.
this episode 8?
Yeah.
One thing I thought was really interesting is that in the edited version, you guys were talking about the interactions between Perd and Richard, and then with Abigail, and then a lot of that ended up shifting to being with the two of them, with Lee and Bill,
Mhm.
in what then became Bill's office. In the edited version, there was a whole new scene that they added where the two guys come outside and they're still kind of bickering about it, and then Elizabeth comes up to them and says, "Are you still fighting
Yes.
about oil?" And then she kind of schools them a bit on what it is to be good neighbors. And that was not in the originally filmed episode. I thought that was a good addition.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because Abigail kind of chastised him, kind of scolded him, but it wouldn't be appropriate for Bill or Lee to do that. So that was really clever to have Elizabeth do that. That was clever.
Any last comments or thought process for these episodes 6, 7, and 8 that we've been talking about?
I'm enjoying revisiting season 6 and seeing this alternate universe or whatever we're going to call this. It's just, I can't wait to see the next episodes. Now, y'all have got me wanting to see it. I've got to find time.
Got to see it.
Yeah,
I was just
definitely.
convinced that I thought there's no way we're ever going to see the original episodes because they probably wouldn't release them. But then here we are, and I thought, oh, how cool! When I saw that that video from HFR when they made that announcement, I was like, yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, after it aired, I'm like, no. I want the whole season. I want the whole
Yeah.
season.
I think a lot of Hardys were
yeah.
just kind of stunned, like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is happening? This is really happening.
Yeah, no, so surprised and delighted. I was just so thrilled. So thank you, Elliot and Edify, and all the things that they have done to support Wind Calls the Heart. And man, there's no gratitude every day for them. They did a lot of work for this box set, so it was perfect.
Head to Walmart or to the Edify store. whencallstheheart.com and get your copy.
Definitely. Because it was a great surprise for me because my husband never told me he had purchased it. And I got it
Nice.
from the porch and I went like, what is this? Opening it up, going like,
Goes, oh,
oh,
what's this?
oh,
It's
bonus
really large.
content. Yeah. So I was really looking forward to
Oh.
seeing the new parts.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Looking forward to seeing if the theory that I've held for like 3 years now will hold true, which is
What's
that
your theory?
it's that in the very final episode, with I believe it's the dance scene, then Elizabeth goes outside and talks to Henry, and she says to him, "You're not the man that everyone thinks you are," something like that. My theory is that that was originally an Abigail line.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in seeing that final episode now to see if I'm
That's
to
gonna
see
be
whether or not
cool.
I'm right.
You'll enjoy it.
Oh, you already done it all, girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was so good.
Yeah.
So good, so good, so good.
So you've seen them all already, Dawn?
I
okay.
She's ahead
I
of
was
us.
all in. I was like, oh, well, I think after the last episode, because the first one was like, oh, I understand. I remember a lot of that was aired, and then the one that we just talked about, which would be episode 7, and then episode
Right.
8, which is the one that we just talked about at the end of this. And it gets more and more and more of Abigail, and I was just like, oh my gosh, there's so much there. So yeah, but again, I'm all in with Abigail and Henry. When that one season finale that Henry went to Abigail's house and we only saw the mailbox
Okay.
for the finale. I don't know if was that what, 10,
That was
11,
10.
12? Okay. I have
It
no
was-
idea.
I remember
was
that it was 10 because it was right before the infamous train station scene.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So yeah, those are moments I'm like, oh man, I've been pining for it for how many seasons. So, but anyway, I did love to see that. So, all right. Anything
Well,
else before we go?
I just want to thank Bryce and Eliana so much for joining us for this. Any last words for the Hardys?
I just wanted to say thank you for having us and looking forward to Kansas City. And I have to start cracking on watching those and going back so that we have a lot to talk to people about and promoting the videos, the DVDs.
Bryce and Eliana are lucky they're going to the Hallmark Christmas experience to see all of our wonderful When Calls the Heart stars. So be looking for them there if you guys are going. Hope y'all have a great time there. All
right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and enjoy your Elite box set from Walmart or Edify.com. Whencallstheheart.com is also an address that you can go to. We'll see you in another, maybe next week. We're going to do a review for the next 4 episodes, and it is juicy. It's juicy. All right. Well, thank you so much. And this is Heart to Hearties.